sound of it, New York Critics Award one year. We went on about 25 minutes with the that
Well, they said in New York, and he asked us to I thought I was.
yeah, she's actually moving here in his own mind. But nobody can act with that. I'm right.
I get 2 shots for that, and then I'll go to the split.
So Tim Ross is in this section.
Maybe vengeance.
Is he changing
What's he doing? They're all buddies down there.
to start, and I'll direct the first question to
You can sit back in your chair.
Sid.
You're on.
Well, it is a play.
And
The Narrowhead?
you have both, yes, it is, a real one that was
One?
cast in, lost wax and silver.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, is everybody's mic hot? All right. Well, Sidney and Timothy, at last we're getting underway here in your suite at the Mandalay Four Seasons. And I have to say welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth area because, Sidney, I've never had the chance to talk with you here, although I did with Timothy when he came through on Ordinary People. But you're here to talk about Daniel. It opens today in our area. And the thing that immediately comes to mind, Sidney, is the Rosenbergs, Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, although you and Dr. O both say that it's not about the Rosenbergs. However, we can't help but have that visual image, or at least have that going through our minds. Now, are you wanting to say to us then that just forget the Rosenbergs, they have nothing to do with it, and there's no message about the Rosenbergs?
Absolutely, there is none. It's the most common form of movie, book, what have you, which is literally a newspaper item, Bobbie. The book and the movie was predicated on literally an event, as it is in all of Dr. O's work. And, I mean, in Ragtime, whether it was Harry K. Thaw or Evelyn Nesbit, he always takes kind of palpable live American themes and American news events and just weaves them into his stories. In this case, it was literally, as he says, the inspiration for it. And because in fact, the only thing that is related to the Rosenberg case is the basic premise of a couple executed for a conspiracy to commit espionage. Nothing else in the movie is historically accurate. Nothing else in the movie was attempted to duplicate anything. I'll give it to you again. Attempted to duplicate anything. As you know, when I've done a lot of true stories, whether it was Serpico or Dog Day Afternoon or Prince of the City, and then I do it accurately and fully. And no such attempt was made here. There are no facts of the Rosenberg case other than the basic premise in the movie.
Have you had any reaction from the Rosenberg children?
No, I don't even know if they've seen it.
Their name, did they not change their names?
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
they're-
The names were changed. They were legally adopted by another couple, and have the name of that couple.
Okay. It's my understanding, Sidney, that you had a lot of trouble trying to get a studio interested in this film. Is that right?
It took a long time, yeah, 12 years.
What were they afraid of?
I don't know. I don't think it was political. I think Hollywood is generally afraid of heavy dramatic stories, and particularly stories where death is involved. And here you've got a story in which two parents are electrocuted, and the consequences of all that, which is what the picture is really about, on the children. So I could understand the normal reluctance to it.
Are you worried about whether or not it will find its audience?
You can't worry about it, Bobbie. You just have to hope, because I never know what audiences are going to do anyway. I'm always surprised by audiences, and I think that generally most people underestimate them, tend to play down to them, and so I just go ahead and make the movie and hope it'll find an audience. But I genuinely don't know what does make money or what doesn't make money.
Well, the verdict certainly found its audience, and you got an Oscar nomination, and so that did well for you. I hope that success will help you with this film. Going back over the films you've made, Sidney, you always do things that are such quality and things that I know you must feel passionately about, or you wouldn't do them. I just somehow don't ever have a vision of Sidney Lumet doing a Smokey and the Bandit, no matter how much money they want to pay him. Now, am I on target or not?
I would if I thought it was good.
Aren't you going to do that?
The Smokey and the Bandit comes next. Yeah. I'll do anything if I think it's a good script, Bobbie. There's no particular kind of movie that bothers me. I think I wouldn't be very good at some of them. I think Smokey and the Bandit can be done very well by Hal Needham, because he's got the stunts down. They're formula pictures, and they know the formula well. So in a sense, they don't need me. But if I found a script that needed cars jumping off cliffs and things like that, I would do it if it was fun.
Okay, Timothy, let's get you into this conversation here.
Cut to Bobbie, it'll be fine.
We've got cutaways.
In other words, the whole segment
Okay.
that this has nothing to do with that.
Okay, all right. So we'll just do that first one again then. Let's see if I can remember exactly how I phrased it. It's about the Rosenbergs. It's not. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. Sidney, then, do you want us to go with the idea that there is no message about the Rosenbergs in this movie?
Absolutely. Everything the movie is about is passion and commitment and the consequences of that, Bobbie, on the next generation. That's really what it's about. And like all of Dr. O's work, he takes a real historical event and uses it as a point of departure for the story he wants to tell and the point he wants to make. Nothing in the picture duplicates any of the experiences of the Rosenbergs. I didn't do any research on it. The actors didn't do any research on it. I didn't want them to, because that's not the story we were telling. When I've wanted to do a true story, I've done a true story, and then the actors look like the people involved. The sets are exact, and so on, and we really do it. But here, it was the farthest thing from our minds.
Okay. Is that good? All right. Now we're on Timothy. Okay. Timothy, I understand that this was a role you desperately wanted to do, right?
Yeah, it is.
Why did you feel so strongly about doing this role?
After I read the book, there was something something hit me about this person, Daniel, and what he had to go through, and what he needed to do to get on with his own life, and what he was up against, the times, where he came from, all the things that were, just the whole story of what he had to go through, what his family was like, getting rid of that emotional baggage. And so there was that, and to get the opportunity to play somebody that I never really played before, a little older than I am, to work with Sidney, to work with New York, and also to work in a kind of ensemble thing hadn't really done. The amazing actors there were.
How old are you now, Tim?
Just turned 23.
Old man of 23. Tim, are you at all political, or have you ever been political?
Not in any direct way. I mean, I've never been active out on my own. But I mean, I have my own feelings about different things, and I grew up in a very political atmosphere in Berkeley, and there were certain things that I was involved in on the campus. But as far as right now, I have my own feelings about different things that are going on, but I'm not going to go out until I know a little bit more about it, because I'm not going to pretend to. I don't know, some people go out, they don't really know what I don't know. But yes.
When you were at Berkeley, did you participate in rallies and that sort of thing?
A little bit. They tried to close down People's Park, so we stayed there and for a couple of days and didn't allow the steamrollers to come in. But little things like that didn't make national headlines, but it was important to us because that's where we played Frisbee.
Okay. Tim, of course everybody remembers that you won an Oscar for Ordinary People. That was your first feature film. Magnificent performance. And by the way, let me say that Daniel is also just a bravo performance from you.
Thank you.
But I wonder, do you sometimes wish that maybe so much hadn't come with the first feature?
I don't know. I don't think so. No. It seems like almost. It seems like a long time ago in a way, and it doesn't feel like. I remember when it all happened, people were saying, where are you going to go from here? Things like that, and I've never really looked at it that way. I never expected all that to happen. It was a surprise to me, but it was something that I didn't live by after it happened. I didn't. That's not what got me up in the morning. What got me up in the morning was the chance to go on and do other things.
But having won the Academy Award and having had such a big splash with your very first movie, did that make it more difficult to select then the roles after that? In other words, did you turn down things thinking, oh my gosh, from Ordinary People, I couldn't possibly do this?
No, I mean, no, I didn't suddenly become. I always have been, I've always been careful about. I don't know. I think everyone should, about what they do. But I didn't after that suddenly become really more careful. I still felt the way I always felt, that if something hit me or grabbed me, I wanted to be a part of it. So I didn't all of a sudden have new lines of thinking on that. They sort of remained the same. I was just happy I had the opportunity to play that part then, because it allowed me after that to go on and do other things.
Were other actors tested for Daniel?
For Daniel? No.
No?
No.
Always it was Tim?
Well, it was peculiar, Bobbie. When it was first suggested, when Tim's agent first suggested it, I said absolutely no. Because all I'd ever seen was Ordinary People and Taps, and he sure didn't look like Daniel to me. And I hadn't even begun to cast the part. I was about to. Now, who do we want for Daniel, Edgar and I were saying. And knock, knock, knock on the door. And what happened, Tim?
I showed up on Sidney's doorstep with a box of blueberries, and I said, yeah, I'd really like to play the part in your movie. And we talked for a little while, and then talked the next day, and then things kind of went on.
He came in, he talked for 2 hours, and I sort of liked him a lot. And then the next day I had him into the office, and he met Edgar Doctorow, who had written the screenplay and the novel, and we hired him that night.
Did the blueberries have anything to do with it?
No, they were lousy. It was too early in the season.
Well, it's because I ate the good box.
I-
before
Well, it's wonderful having you both here. And again, may I congratulate both of you on a, as we say, beautiful piece of work.
Thank you.
And I hope it does extremely well for you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Terrific, Bobbie.
Okay, just
Now
hang
reverse
it.
is on you.
Yes, yes. Okay.